Welcome back to another deep dive. Today feels, well, it feels weighty. If you've been following along with us through the Of Steam and Sorcery saga, specifically our look at Arcanum, you know the world we've been living in.
Oh, yeah. That's
Been a very specific genre, steampunk detective noir, right? You've got the rain-slick streets, the factories, this protagonist with a ring trying to find the boy.
It's basically the Maltese Falcon, but with, orcs and fireballs. That's been the comfort zone for a while.
Exactly, but today we are ripping the training wheels off. We're taking that noir script, crumpling it up, and just throwing it into a furnace.
We are. This is the pivot.
It's a hard pivot. We're going from a personal mystery about a piece of jewelry to a global metaphysical conspiracy. We're not just looking for a person anymore.
Not even close. We're talking about ancient races, alternate dimensions, and the complete corruption of, the most powerful institution in the entire world.
It's a huge shift.
In narrative design, we'd call this the scope blowout. You start the player off small, right? Focus on your own survival, find the owner of this one item, and then bam, right around the mid-game, you pull the camera all the way back.
And you see it.
You see that your tiny little problem is actually the linchpin for the end of the world. This is the exact moment in Arcanum where the genre flips from detective fiction to, cosmic horror.
So let's reorient ourselves on the map for a second. Where did we leave off? Our protagonist has just left the Wheel Clan.
Right, after that very heavy, very depressing conversation with King Loghair.
Yeah, in our last dive, we spent a lot of time with the dwarves. We met Loghair in his, self-imposed dusty exile, and we learned that the Black Mountain Clan, the dwarves we've been hunting for since the crash, weren't killed.
They were banished.
They were banished, which is such a polite, almost bureaucratic word for what we're about to uncover.
It really is. But yeah, the breadcrumbs have led us here. Loghair, the king, told us he banished them, but he did it under, extreme duress.
And who applied that pressure?
The Elves, specifically the Silver Lady of Qintarra.
Which is already a huge red flag. I mean, we know elves and dwarves have friction. One loves nature and magic, the other loves stone and technology.
A tale as old as time.
But for the elven queen to demand the banishment of an entire dwarven clan, that's political interference on a massive scale. So Loghair points us toward the Glimmering Forest. Our mission is clear.
Find Qintarra.
Find the Silver Lady and ask her why.
It sounds so simple on paper, doesn't it? Just, go to the forest, have a chat with the elves. But this is Arcanum. It never, ever lets you walk in a straight line.
No, it doesn't. Before we can even get to the high fantasy, ethereal city of the elves, the game throws this massive curveball at us. We have to pass through a town called Stillwater.
Ah, Stillwater.
I have to say, this might be one of my favorite little detours in the entire game, just for the sheer atmosphere of it.
It's brilliant. You're expecting the gateway to this ancient magical land to be, majestic or intimidating.
Right. Maybe some glowing ruins or something.
And instead, you just stumble into a tourist trap. A complete backwater tourist trap.
It is absolute genius. Stillwater is the Arcanum version of, a roadside town in the Pacific Northwest that claims they saw Bigfoot.
Totally. The locals are kind of superstitious, a little bit rude, and their entire economy runs on this one cryptid myth, the Stillwater Giant.
The Stillwater Giant. There's a museum with this fake pelt that looks like it was stitched together from an old rug.
And the locals tell you these ridiculous tall tales. The game does this amazing thing where it plays with your expectations as a player. You're the living one, you're dealing with ancient prophecies. So when they tell you there's a giant monster in the woods, you just kind of nod.
You just go, okay, yeah, add it to the list.
Right. You strap on your plate mail, you load your elephant gun, you get ready for a big boss fight. And what do you actually find?
A blue rabbit.
A blue rabbit.
A giant, fluffy, blue bunny rabbit.
It's the ultimate subversion. Now, okay, technically, if you have a high enough perception or, a magical aptitude, you realize it's actually a shape-shifting wizard or a polymorph creature just messing with people.
But for the average player on their first run, it's a bunny.
It's just a bunny. And it's a moment of pure comedy, but I think it serves a really important narrative function. It disarms you. It makes you feel like the world is a little bit silly and manageable right before the story plunges you into, absolute darkness.
It's the calm before the storm. But Stillwater isn't just jokes and rabbits, it's also where we meet Mirth. And Mirth is a piece of work.
Mirth is our first real, unfiltered introduction to the modern elven attitude. Up until now, elves have been these sort of distant mythical figures.
Yeah, from storybooks.
But Mirth is right there in the bar, and he is the living personification of arrogance. He knows where Qintarra is, he knows you need to go there, and he will not tell you.
He treats you like a slow child, or like a pet that tracked mud into the house.
Exactly. To him, you are a technologist. You're a human, you are short-lived, you probably smell like engine grease, and you are actively destroying the world. He has absolutely zero respect for you.
So he sends you on this wild goose chase for the giant's pelt just to laugh at you.
He's hazing you.
Yeah.
It's a test of humility from his perspective. It really highlights that racial tension we've talked about before. In most fantasy games, elves are the wise, benevolent guides.
Right, they're the Gandalfs.
Here, they're isolationists who think we are, for lack of a better word, trash. But, and this is why I love the design of this game so much, you don't have to play his little game.
No, you don't. You don't have to be the fool.
This is where the open-ended nature of Arcanum just shines. You can play along, sure. Go get the pelt. Or you can do some digging. You can talk to the locals and find out that Mirth isn't just an arrogant elf. He's also a petty thief.
He stole the amulet of Entala from the local herbalist, Galen.
The great and noble elf is a common shoplifter.
It just cracks that whole facade immediately.
It does. If you steal it back for her, or even just confront him about it, his entire demeanor changes. He goes from, I am a god among insects, to, oh, please don't tell anyone, here are the coordinates to Qintarra.
It shows us that for all their posturing about honor and nature, they're just as fallible and petty as anyone you'd meet in a back alley in Tarrant.
Which is a crucial lesson to learn right before you go meet their queen.
So whether we trick him, serve him, or steal from him, we finally get the location, we navigate the mountain passes, and we leave the smog and the grime of the industrial world behind, and we arrive at Qintarra.
And the visual shift here, the source material, describes it as just breathtaking.
I can imagine.
It's a total palate cleanser. You have to remember, the player has likely spent the last, 20 or 30 hours in gray stone cities, dark sewers, and soot-stained factories.
Yeah, it's all brown and gray.
Qintarra is vertical. It's built into the ancient trees of the Glimmering Forest. There are no straight lines. There are no smokestacks. No gears clanking. Is the visual manifestation of magic in this universe.
It sounds beautiful, but also alien. Is that the right word?
Very alien.
Yeah.
It's not built to human scale. The walkways spiral up tree trunks, the lights are these bioluminescent fungi. It's deliberately meant to make you feel out of place.
Like you don't belong.
Like you're a virus entering a healthy organism.
Yeah.
That's genuinely how the elves see you.
And running this organism, we meet Raven. She's the daughter of the Silver Lady, the acting ruler.
Raven is a fascinating character. She's not some princess in a tower. She's a politician. She's a pragmatist living in a society of, frankly, idealists. She knows the humans are encroaching, and she's the one who actually has to deal with it.
So she gives us a test to prove our worth, the Falcon's Ache quest.
Right.
And this really stood out to me because usually in an RPG, a test of worth just means go to that cave and kill the big bear.
Go kill 10 boars, yeah.
This was different. This was diplomatic.
It's entirely political. There are human surveyors on sacred elven grounds at Falcon's Ache. They're working for, surprise, surprise, Gilbert Bates and his logging interests.
Of course they are.
They're there to clear-cut the forest, and Raven asks you to remove them. But here's the condition, and it's absolute. No violence.
That's the kicker. If you go in guns blazing like you did with the sewer rats in Tarrant, you fail.
You fail immediately. And it's such a brilliant piece of design because it forces the player to understand the elven philosophy. They aren't just anti-technology. They are pro-harmony. If you spill blood on their sacred ground, you have desecrated it just as much as a steam engine would have.
It forces you to switch gears. You can't be a brute. You have to be a diplomat.
You have to talk these men down. You can lie to them, tell them the woods are haunted by spirits, or maybe you can bribe them, but you absolutely cannot draw your sword.
It's checking if the player is capable of nuance. It's asking, can you solve a problem without just, destroying it?
Which is the central conflict of the whole world, really.
So if we pass, if we prove we aren't just another savage industrialist, we finally get our audience with the Silver Lady. And I have to say, for an all-knowing ancient oracle, she is incredibly unhelpful.
That is the oracle annoyance factor, isn't it? It's a classic trope.
It is, but here her vagueness is very specific. She's described as being sort of half-phase out of reality, speaking in these cryptic riddles.
But she drops one name that hits the protagonist and the player like a ton of bricks. She says, your answer lies with Nazrudin.
Okay, we have to pause here. We need to unpack why this is such a confusing almost nonsensical statement for the character, because to us, Nasrudin is just a fantasy name. But in the world of Arcanum, who is Nasrudin?
Nasrudin is essentially Jesus
Mm.
or Moses.
Mhm.
He is the central messianic figure of the Panari religion, which is the dominant religion for all humans on the continent.
He's a household name.
He's more than that. The story, the one every child learns, is that 2,000 years ago, Nasrudin fought the evil sorcerer Arronax. They had this cataclysmic duel that shattered mountains. Arronax was banished to the void, and Nasrudin died of his wounds. He is a martyr. He is a saint. He is dead.
And he's been dead for 2 millennia.
Precisely. So the Silver Lady telling us to go ask Nasrudin is...
It's insane. It's like going to a private investigator to find a missing person, and they just tell you, go ask Julius Caesar.
Exactly. It's a non-starter. And it completely challenges the protagonist's entire understanding of history. Is she speaking metaphorically? Is she just senile?
Or, and this is the thought that starts to creep in, is the history we've been taught fundamentally wrong?
And that's the thread the game forces you to pull. You can't ask a dead guy for answers, so you have to dig into the history books. You have to verify the story. And this triggers the next leg of the journey where the genre shifts yet again.
We go from high fantasy back to noir, but this time it's much, much darker. It starts to feel like a Call of Cthulhu investigation. We're not looking for a person, we're hunting for a book.
Horror Among the Dark Elves by Renford A. Terwilliger.
Even the title sounds like something you shouldn't read.
It's a forbidden text, and the investigation to find it is brutal. You go to the main library and Terran Terwilliger is dead. Died under mysterious circumstances.
You track the last known copy of the book to a collector in Caledon, a man named Victor Misk. You get to his house.
He's dead too.
And not just dead, he's been tortured. His tongue was cut out.
Subtlety is not the villain's strong suit here, is it?
Not at all. And this is where the stakes just escalate massively. Someone, a very powerful someone, is desperately trying to erase all knowledge of this book.
And you have to ask why. It's because the book claims that the Elven society isn't a monolith. It claims there's a shadow faction, a splinter group, the Dark Elves.
Up until this point in the game, Dark Elves were basically a myth, like the boogeyman. Even the regular elves in Qintarra won't talk about them.
But the trail of bodies proves they're real. And eventually, after a lot more digging and danger, you find the location named in the book, Senang.
Senang, the city of the Dark Elves. Even the name just sounds sharp and cruel, doesn't it?
It really does. If Qintarra is all about harmony and light, Senang is supremacy and shadow. It's built deep in a blighted part of the forest, cloaked by powerful magic. And finding it is one thing.
But getting inside, that requires one of the most tense mechanics in the whole game.
You can't just knock on the front door and ask for directions.
No, you have to infiltrate. And to do that, you have to use the amulet of the Molochean Hand.
The irony here is just, it's absolutely delicious. Let's just remind everyone listening, who are the Molochean Hand?
They are the assassins who have been trying to kill us since the very first scene of the game. They blew up the Zeppelin. They ambush us at train stations. They're the boogeymen that have been hunting us.
We have spent the entire game terrified of these guys.
And now, to survive walking into the heart of evil, we have to put on their amulet. We have to wear their symbol.
We have to become the thing we hate. It's a total lion's den moment. You walk past these high-level dark elf guards, your heart is pounding, you're just praying that the amulet works, praying they recognize the symbol and not your face.
You're walking into the headquarters of a hostile power disguised as one of their own agents.
It creates such an amazing psychological tension. You aren't fighting your way in, you're bluffing your way in. And that all culminates when we finally meet their leader, Imminigurad.
Imminigurad is terrifying. She's not a screaming, cackling villain.
No, she's worse. She's cold, she's calculated, and she is ancient. You're standing there in her private chambers, surrounded by her elite guard, and you have to convince her that you are an agent of the Molochean Hand who has come to make a report.
It's a high-stakes dialogue check. One wrong answer, one suspicious phrase, and you are just a pile of ash on the floor.
But if you pull it off,
Yeah.
if you can convince her you're on her side.
She drops the mask, she tells you everything. And this, right here, is the core conspiracy of the entire game. This is the moment everything connects.
She reveals the true fate of the Black Mountain clan.
The dwarves. The ones we've been looking for since minute one. The ones King Loghair banished. Mgrad says they weren't killed.
They were sent to the void.
Let's unpack the void for a second, because in a lot of fantasy, the void is just, a generic scary place.
A spooky name for a dungeon, yeah.
Yeah. But in Arcanum, it is a very specific thing. It's an interdimensional prison. It exists outside of time and space. The ancient elves created it thousands of years ago to hold their worst criminals.
It's a place of eternal nothingness. It's meant to be the ultimate punishment.
And Mengarad admits, almost boasts, that the Dark Elves forced the Wheel Clan to banish the Black Mountain Clan there. But the question is why?
Exactly. The Dark Elves despise technology. They call dwarves gravel maggots. They see them as lesser beings. Why would they want to keep an entire clan of them alive in a prison dimension?
Because they need them. This is the twist that, for me, elevates Arcanum into something truly special.
It's incredible. Mengarad reveals that the Dark Elves are trying to break Aranax, their dark god, their ancient leader, out of the void. But the prison is sealed by these immensely powerful magical wards.
Wards created by the ancient elves at the height of their power.
So magic cannot break magic of that magnitude. It's like trying to cut a diamond with another diamond. You just scratch the surface. To break a magical seal that powerful, you need something that fundamentally opposes magic.
You need technology.
You need technology.
So the magic supremacists who believe technology is a filthy corruption of the world
Are secretly kidnapping the best engineers on the planet to build a machine to save their god.
It's the ultimate hypocrisy. It's staggering. They are enslaving the Black Mountain Clan in this timeless hell, forcing them to build a technological device, probably based on the legendary Vendigroth device, specifically to disrupt the magical seal from the inside.
They're using the one thing they despise to achieve the one thing they worship.
And that revelation, it just completely recontextualizes everything we learned about King Loghair in the last deep dive.
Oh, it makes it so much worse.
We thought he was just this depressed, broken king who made a bad call.
It's so much more tragic than that. Now, remember his whole philosophy is stone in shape?
Yes, the core of dwarven belief.
Loghair believed that by banishing the Black Mountain Clan, he was saving the shape of the world. He was preventing a global war between elves and dwarves. The Dark Elves came to him and threatened to wipe out his entire race if he didn't comply.
So he thought he was making this noble, horrible sacrifice, one clan to save his people.
But he was played. He was completely manipulated. The Dark Elves never wanted a war. That was a bluff. They wanted the engineers. They weaponized Loghair's own morality, his own philosophy, against him.
They knew he was a noble king who would try to save the shape.
So they used that to trick him into breaking the stone, the soul and integrity of the people. He didn't save anyone. He handed his own kin over to be slaves in hell.
No wonder he's been sitting on a throne of dust for 50 years. The guilt must be absolutely unbearable.
And speaking of guilt, this revelation spirals all the way back to the very first scene of the game. The gnome on the Zeppelin.
Stenor Rockcutter.
Let's just repaint that picture for the listeners. Opening cinematic. The IFS Zephyr is attacked by these weird biplanes flown by ogres. The blimp is going down in flames. A dying gnome crawls over to you, hands you a ring, and gasps, "Find the boy." Then he dies.
Except we learn here that he wasn't a gnome at all.
He was a dwarf, a Black Mountain Clan dwarf.
And why did he look like a gnome? Because he shaved. He shaved his beard.
Now, to a modern listener, that might sound like a simple disguise. Oh, he put on a fake nose and shaved. But for a dwarf in this setting,
It's mutilation. It's a complete psychosexual castration of his identity as a dwarf.
a dwarf's beard is his history. It's his pride, his connection to the stone, his family line. No dwarf would ever shave willingly. It's a sign of absolute soul-crushing, terrified desperation.
Stenor managed to escape the void, probably using a prototype of the very machine they were being forced to build, and he knew he couldn't hide as a dwarf. The Dark Elves and their agents would be hunting for him.
So he mutilated himself to pass as a gnome.
And the most tragic part of it all, he wasn't trying to save himself. He was coming back to find Gilbert Bates, the boy.
This is the tragedy that just breaks my heart every single time I replay this game. Gilbert Bates is the richest man in the world. He's the father of the Industrial Revolution. But he has spent the last 50 years depressed and alone.
Because he thinks he betrayed his dwarven friends.
He thinks the Black Mountain Clan abandoned him because he stole their steam engine plans. He lives with this crushing guilt, thinking he's a thief and a traitor who drove his best friends away.
But the reality is completely flipped. He didn't betray them. They were banished because of him.
Completely. Stenor wasn't coming back to accuse him or get revenge. Stenor escaped hell, mutilated his own body, crossed dimensions, and died in a burning Zeppelin, all to warn his old human friend.
He was trying to say, it wasn't your fault. They were taken, and now they're coming for you.
God, it just turns Bates from this sort of simple, greedy, capitalist archetype into such a profoundly tragic figure. His entire success is built on the ashes of his friends, but not in the way he thinks. He's been hating himself for a crime he never even committed.
It's just a masterclass in writing. Every single character in this conspiracy is operating on incomplete or just plain wrong information.
Bates thinks he's a traitor. Loghair thinks he's a failure. The protagonist thinks they're a detective solving a simple murder.
And the Molochean Hand, the assassins, they think they're heroes.
That's the next massive piece of the puzzle that falls into place. We leave Mingorad's chambers, hopefully alive, and right outside Sanang we run into their leader, Gideon Lair.
And he's not what you expect. He isn't twirling a mustache or cackling about evil plans.
No, he looks tired. He's weary. And if you manage to talk to him instead of just fighting, you realize the Molochean Hand isn't an evil organization, not in their own minds. They're a holy order, a religious one.
And they believe that the survivor of the Zeppelin crash is the harbinger of the apocalypse.
They have a prophecy about the evil one coming on wings of fire from the sky.
You fell out of a burning blimp.
You match the description perfectly. In their minds, they are the righteous heroes trying to save the world by killing you before you can end it. They're fanatics, yes, but they genuinely believe they are the good guys.
But just like everyone else, they're being manipulated.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because who gives the Molochean Hand their holy orders? The high priest of the Panari religion, a man named Kanhua.
Okay, let's talk about Kanhua. Because if there is a bad guy with a capital B in the story, it's this guy.
Kanhua is terrifying because of his position. He is, for all intents and purposes, the Pope of Arcanum. He is the high priest of the Panari. He controls the spiritual life of the entire human continent. Everyone trusts him implicitly.
But he's not who he says he is, not even close.
No. The lore implies very, very strongly that Kanhua is an ancient survivor. He's likely been alive for thousands of years, allied with the Dark Elves from the very beginning. He has spent centuries, maybe millennia, infiltrating and twisting the Panari religion from the inside out.
He's using the entire church as a front operation.
He has weaponized faith. The church preaches goodness and truth and the holy martyrdom of Nesrudin. And all the while, Kanhua is using that infrastructure to hunt down and eliminate anyone who might get in the way of Aronex's return.
He uses the Molochean Hand as his personal hit squad, telling them they're killing demons when in reality they're just killing witnesses and loose ends.
It's the ultimate subversion of the holy order trope in RPGs. Usually the church might be a bit strict or dogmatic, but they're fundamentally the good guys fighting the demons.
Right. Here, the church is the demon's waiting room.
It is. And if you happen to be playing the game with Vollinger in your party, that's the gnome follower you can pick up in Ashbury, this moment hits incredibly hard. Because Vollinger, we learn, is a hand assassin.
He's been spying on you the whole time.
He has. But when he's there and he learns this truth, when he realizes that his holy leader, Kanhua, is secretly working for the Dark Elves, Vollinger has a complete and total crisis of faith.
I mean, his whole life is a lie.
It is. He spent his life killing monsters for the church. He's sacrificed his own morality for what he thought was the greater good, and then he finds out the greater good was a lie. The people signing his paychecks are the very evil he swore his life to destroy.
It just destroys him, and it's that horrifying realization that institutions, even the ones designed to be paragons of good, can be hollowed out and worn like a skin suit by pure evil.
So let's just take a second and look at the board. The whole board is a mess. The dwarves are enslaved in another dimension. The Dark Elves are building a portal to bring back their god. The church is a lie. The holy assassins are dupes.
And everyone is terrified of one name, Aronex.
Aronex, the Dark Messiah. The evil elf who tried to destroy the world 2,000 years ago. All the lore, all the characters, everything points to him. He's the big bad. He's the Sauron figure of this story.
That's what the characters believe. It's what the Dark Elves believe. They think they're bringing back their glorious leader to cleanse the world of humans and their filthy technology.
This is Arcanum, and Arcanum loves a good rug pull.
So, is he the big bad?
We have to be careful here not to spoil the very, very end. But the sources we have, the in-game lore, it all suggests something else is going on in the void.
Ew.
If you've been a diligent player and read the books you find, the necromantic texts, the forgotten journals, you might have noticed another name popping up again and again.
Kurgan?
Kurgan the Terrible. We found his journal way back in that hidden necromancer's lab in the first act of the game.
Right.
Kurgan was the first necromancer. He was the human who discovered the principles of necromancy. And he was banished to the void long, long before Aranex ever was.
And the philosophy he wrote about in his journals, it wasn't about conquest, was it? Aranex wanted to rule the world. That's a political goal. It's evil, sure, but it's an understandable kind of evil.
Right, it's a desire for power. But Kurgan...
What does Kurgan want?
Kurgan studied death.
Right.
He went to the void, he saw the afterlife, he communed with whatever's on the other side, and he came to a terrifyingly logical conclusion. He believes life itself is the mistake.
Oof, that's not political, that's metaphysical.
It's nihilism on a cosmic scale. Kurgan believes that pulling souls out of the peaceful, silent river of death and forcing them into fleshy, pain-feeling temporary bodies is a crime against the universe. He believes that existence is suffering.
So he doesn't want to rule Arcanum.
He wants to save it by killing everything and everyone in it, to return all souls to the quiet peace of non-existence.
So while every single person in the world is looking left, terrified that this evil elf god Aranex is going to come back and enslave humanity.
There's a very real possibility that the true threat, Kurgan, is in the background, manipulating events, plotting to just hit the off switch on the entire universe.
That is horrifying. And that brings us back to that device, the technological machine the dwarves are building in the void, the Vendigroth device.
Right, we've heard whispers of this throughout the game. It's the atomic bomb of this setting, the ultimate superweapon.
It was built by the lost, hyper-advanced city of Vendigroth, and it was designed for one purpose.
To kill a high-level mage. To kill a god.
How does the machine even do that? I mean, besides the obvious, like shooting him with a big cannon.
It's about the fundamental physics of the world. In Arcanum, technology and magic are like oil and water. They're antithetical forces. They repel each other.
Okay.
A powerful mage like Aranex has magical shields, regeneration spells, time-warping abilities. You can't just shoot him. The bullet will probably turn into a flower or just bounce off a magic wall. But the Vendigroth device, it generates a technological field so intense, so grounded in rigid physical laws, that it snaps reality back into a non-magical state instantly.
It creates a dead zone where magic literally cannot exist.
Exactly. And if you're a being like Aranex, whose very life force is woven from and sustained by magic, when that device activates, it rips you apart at a molecular level. It essentially deletes your soul from the operating system of reality.
And the Dark Elves, the ultimate magic users, the supremacists, are trying to build this weapon.
They are building the one gun in the universe that can kill them instantly. It is the ultimate, most delicious irony. They need the Vendigroth device to destroy the magical wards holding Aranex, but the very existence of that device is anathema to everything they believe in.
It just proves the game's central thesis, doesn't it? You cannot separate these two worlds. Magic relies on tech to free its god. Tech reacts to magic and can destroy it. They are locked in this horrible death spiral.
And this leaves the player, the protagonist, in an incredibly lonely, isolated spot. Think about it. The good church is corrupt to its core. The bad dark elves are on the verge of winning. The neutral industrialists are clueless and consumed by their own misplaced guilt.
There's no cavalry coming. There's no one to call for help.
That's the huge realization of this whole section of the game. You can't trust the priests, you can't trust the history books, you can't trust the elves, and you certainly can't trust the assassins. The protagonist is the only independent variable left in the equation. You are the only one who sees the whole board.
And the Silver Lady said, the answer lies with Nazrudin.
But we now know the church's version of Nazrudin is a lie. The official tomb is probably empty. Kan Hua has been faking the whole religion for centuries.
So we have to find the real Nazrudin. If he's even still alive after 2,000 years. I mean, if the history books lied about his death, maybe he's just out there somewhere, hiding.
Which means our next stop has to be the one place on the map that practically has a giant neon sign that says, "Do not go here."
Thanatos, the Isle of Death.
It sounds charming. I'm sure there are no ancient horrors or unsolvable puzzles there.
Not at all. But that's where we're headed. We're leaving civilization behind. No more trains, no more shops, no more comfortable hotels. We are heading into the literal heart of the ancient world to see if a dead god is still breathing.
It is just incredible how this story evolves. We started with a whodunit over a ring in a foggy industrial city.
And now we are dealing with the ethics of cosmic genocide, the deep-seated corruption of our most trusted institutions, and the philosophy of eternal death.
It's why Arcanum is, and always will be, a masterpiece. It respects the player's intelligence. It doesn't give you a shining knight in armor to follow. It gives you a mess. It gives you a broken, dying world, and it just asks, okay, what are you going to do about it?
And I think that's the thought I want to leave our listeners with today. In a world where all the systems are rigged, where the church is a lie and the government is bought and history is a fiction, what is the actual value of the truth? And is it worth dying for?
We'll find out, I guess, on Thanatos.
Thanks for diving in with us.
See you in the void.